Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. Season 2.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
It was revealed in chart music today that talent is ranked 16th as a contributing factor towards success.
On today's episode, we will be talking about Sangre. This is a 1989 film directed by Alejandro Jodorowsky and stars Axel Jodorowsky, Blanca Guerra, and Guy Stockwell. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows. A former circus artist escapes from a mental hospital to rejoin his armless mother and is forced to enact brutal murders in her name as he becomes her arms. Here is an original song to support the synopsis.
I wanna be my mummy's arms, helping her to steer. I wanna be my mummy's arms, hold on to what is dear. I wanna be my mummy's arms, chopped off by my dad. I wanna be my mummy's arms, make her happy when she's sad. I wanna be my mummy's arms, make sense when all is done. I wanna be my mummy's arms, a helping-handed, loving son. Concha is the Mexican slang word for vagina.
This episode is brought to you in association with Severin Films and AIM Publicity. These wonderful film distributors and publicity peoples kindly sent us over a 4-disc limited edition version of the movie on UHD and Blu-ray for us to give the Podcorn Kernel treatment. If you look like you're a son of a bitch, did I see your dick out the corner of my fucking eye? If you like the sound of Sangre, head on over to severinfilms.com and grab yourself a stunning and highly collectible 4-disc limited edition copy on UHD and Blu-ray that is packed full of bonus goodies. Stay tuned until the end of the episode to hear more about the bonus bounty. Let's start with some facts about the film. This film is included on Roger Ebert's Great Movies list.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first film that has this fact in it. As far as I know, the 70 plus episodes we've done before this one, a film hasn't appeared on Roger Ebert's Great Movies list. So this begs the question, what is the better list? Ebert's list or Schneider's list?
I think Ebert's is subjective, Schneider's is objective.
So Ebert is personal opinion.
Yeah, because there's been some great films that he pans, and it's kind of like, well, why? Give to me why you dislike so much. So it kind of tracks though, because if you read about it, so Empire's 2009 500 greatest films of all time, this was 483. So there is an audience out there and a critique circle out there that do admire it, and I think it's because it looks. The undertaking is huge.
Yeah.
In that first 15 minutes, you see them bury an elephant in a coffin, but the procession is huge and they're dropping it down a cliff and stuff. Like, the actual undertaking is huge.
It's a fucking 2-hour acid trip.
Oh, the best way you've ever put it.
Yeah.
The only way.
It is madness. Now, when a film takes a big swing, whether it's a hit or a miss, I like to see it acknowledged. And the fact that this is included in someone like Ebert's Great Movies list, I'm happy for the film. I'm happy for everyone involved. Would I have it in my personal Great Movies list? I don't think I would. I
think I could easily put this in my 500 because you'd find it quite hard to do a list of 500 movies. And I think, what are the ones that stick with you for other reasons other than that they were Oscar contenders? This one will stick with me. This will be up there.
I'm going to put it out there. I don't think it would make my top
500.
I've watched 200 films this year.
Yeah.
I think.
But how many seared into your brain? How many made an imprint and tattooed you?
If this was a most permanent impression list, I think it would probably be in the top 500. Top 500 great movie lists of me, Adam John. I don't know, man. I don't know. And that's odd for you to be almost defending something like this, because normally it's the other way around.
That's because I don't think you fully see. It's like looking at your intestines and you stretch them out and they go around the world or some shit. When you look at 500 films,
I'm not. Yeah,
I think as you do hit it's 483rd in the Empire's list.
So it's in the relegation zone.
And that's Empire.
Yeah.
So you got to think how many wonderful... I think 300 you might be able to fill with quite competent films that I could sit and say I'll probably enjoy all of them.
Shall we scrap this podcast and come up with that formula instead?
Yes.
Adam tries to list 500 better films
Then Santa
than
Sangre.
Santa Sangre, yeah.
Holy Blood.
All the films advertised at the cinema where the Down syndrome youngsters are dropped off were directed by the film's executive producer, Rene Cardona Jr.
I have nothing to add.
They're actual films.
What, the posters?
Yeah.
Are they like B-list sort of B movies from Chile?
I mean...
Set in Mexico, isn't it?
They must... I actually don't know where this film is set.
It's set in Mexico, I think.
Yeah. But the movie posters that are shown in this film, have another look. There's some really weird ones there. Not weird enough for me to make a note of their names, but I do remember them being weird.
Sorry, you want me to go and put this back on and...
It's in your top 500 films, man.
It is. It is in my top 500.
Will you ever watch it
easily in that category. Do you know what? I probably would under the guise that you have shown me films before to watch my reaction.
Yes.
So
okay,
I would love to like sit down with someone and be like, I'm going to throw this on. We've got to watch this.
Yeah.
Because it is madness.
It is madness. I think I watched this again fresh this morning, and I did actually prefer it on a second viewing. Now, my partner was like, "Oh, shall I watch this one?" I'm like, "I don't think you'll like it. I think it's aged not necessarily very well. I think it's too surreal for you. I don't think you would like it." But then on watching it a second time, I was like, actually, I think she would take value from it. It's certainly, for me personally, a film that improved on the second viewing.
I think it's intentionally psychedelic and odd on purpose.
Oh yeah, this isn't a perchance madness.
No,
this is all considered madness, and it's about fractured psyche and trauma and all of these things.
Yeah.
And on second viewing, when you know what's coming, it is a lot more layered than you might think it is on first.
Yeah, it's very artistic. It's very expressionist.
This film is included in the Empire's 500 greatest movies of all time.
Oh, my bad.
10,000 Empire readers, 150 of Hollywood's finest, and 50 key film critics voted in the most ambitious movie poll ever attempted.
Yeah, man, it matters.
Yeah, it does matter. I mean, no, I didn't know the specific number, so you added fact, ponder fact.
Yeah, 483.
So, 483. I think it's bloody good. It's bloody good going.
I think because it's so unique, it has to be considered.
Yeah.
It's so odd.
And it does warm thy cockles, because after first viewing, I was like, you're going to fucking hate this. And I must have apologised 10, 20 times, because we've spoken about it many times before on this podcast. You're not a fan of just nonsense for nonsense sense. Now, 80 to 85% of this film kind of feels like it's just mental, and then the last act, it all wraps it up, and you understand it all better.
Yeah, it's justified.
Exactly. The madness has a purpose. The madness has a motive. So when it's like that, like you've said, you're on record saying you don't mind that, you can quite enjoy that. Yeah. So there is that saving grace. But I did think, watching it first time round, that you really weren't going to like it.
Well, no, because it has like a Shutter Island-esque tie-up, because everything that unravels in Shutter Island, even though it's not madness, it's his madness. But by the end, you realise that you've been watching his madness.
It's
and
validated.
This does the same.
Yeah.
This does the same. So I was in for the trip. I was on the crazy roller coaster, and I got off.
And isn't it wonderful, 70 episodes deep into this artistic endeavour, that I can still be surprised at your reaction to a film? Because I don't know about you, the more episodes we do, I kind of watch the film and I think I know what you're going to think.
You should smell my fridge. Then you'll be surprised.
Oh, what's in your fridge, son?
You don't want to know, man. You don't want to know. Let's just say it's not Vienna sausage.
Okay. What did you like about Santa Sangre?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I might have to cough a few times. It challenges every facet of societal expectations, and therefore by proxy ends up becoming one of the bravest and weirdest films I've ever seen, which is heavily related to the imagery within it, a few of which I will now share with the audience. Human dog basket bed, black and white American flag at an elephant's funeral, elephant coffin, Down syndrome fruit party, Dulux paint 6 feet under range, giving Chang to the mentally disabled in lieu of a movie at the cinema, ugly paired with good looking, fat likes Finn, Finn likes fat, disabled are abled, vengeance is love, death is easy, living is hard.
I feel that should be put in italic writing in front of a sunset or something.
Thanks.
That was oddly profound and moving.
It's fantastically weird. I could not look away from the oddities in the characters, the costumes, the many themes of what I saw is like upside down, inside out, and how life is a coin toss for everyone.
Yeah.
It was so wonderfully weird. Like, how often do you get to watch a film where like everyone's treated on an equal playing field? Thin, fats, mentally disabled.
Yeah.
It was just a complete plethora of what we don't get to see in cinema. Like, it wasn't just like hiring someone just to tick a box.
Yeah.
They were genuinely considered. Like, I found the scenes with the Down syndrome lads really like eye-opening.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so rare that you watch a film and they're like, have some cocaine, have this, here's a prostitute and stuff. I was like, fucking hell, this film's a bit bold.
Yeah.
And I think that excited me. It made me sit up. I was like,
Yeah.
And because obviously it's what they used to call freak show, isn't it? So you're already starting in a very strong, odd world. A bit like loads of films take influence from this, I would say.
Oh, has to. Yeah.
Yeah. Nightmare Alley was a remake when it's potentially not that. It might be the other way around. Jodorowsky was influenced by Nightmare Alley because wasn't it a 50s film?
Yeah. Del Toro's was an adaptation of a film that came out, I believe, in the 50s. Yeah.
But definitely American Horror Story Freak Show. It takes huge influence from this.
Yeah.
That little nucleus family of oddballs. You're like, it's great. It's a great place to stage your story, and it folds out of it. It's so mad.
The whole thing felt like a grown-up Tim Burton film, almost. It was balls to the wall bonkers, and I, for one, loved that element about it. So I'll get in the bed with you on that one as well, because I love that Santa Sangre is a stalwart superstar of strange. Whenever I watch a film that is different to anything I've ever seen before, I will highlight it as I like. This film may well be the strangest I have ever seen, and the plot felt like it was created by a kernel cranium for our What the Plot game. Within minutes, I knew to strap myself in for a medley of madness, and I really liked the fact that Santa Sangre got madder and madder and madder. Alejandro Jodorowsky has created a really absurd art house horror that is as eccentric as it is energetic. Santa Sangre felt like a merging of a fever dream and a trip on magic mushrooms without the paranoia and bad taste.
Yeah,
and
it did.
It's all of that and everything you said.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but when I first watched it, like I already said, within 10 minutes, I was like, I don't know if you're going to even make this. I didn't know if it was going to be, a film that 5 minutes in, you were like, what the fuck are you doing to me, man? No. But the artistic license, the level playing field, like you say, it actually explores a lot of really interesting, deeper subject matters.
Well, it starts with exposition anyway. So the film starts with 21-year-old, 22-year-old man, bearded, hairy, in a cell up a little tree, clearly in a mental asylum of some sort. And then it shows you how he got there. Shows you him as a child working at a circus with a mime, and the brutal, killing of his mum. And, sex is intertwined during all. It's very Freudian.
Yeah.
In it. It's all about like how he looks at his mother as a sexual object. Like he watches his mum have sex and then her arms get chopped off. It's so volatile.
Yeah.
You get this brilliant exposition. So unlike mad films like Holy Motors or something, there actually is something to follow here.
Yeah.
And you can see, and if you're a bit sharp, you can probably guess that the mum's actually no longer around or alive, but the film gets you believing because his psychosis believes that he's come up with this circus act essentially years later after witnessing the death of his mother and dad. Look, he's his mum's arms and she's still around in the world, and she's not, she's just a doll.
Yeah, I mean, that is a plot device that we've seen time and time again. The audience is led to believe you're led to believe that what you're seeing is factual and is happening. These events are unfolding in front of your eyes.
Unreliable narrator.
Exactly that. And then the more you watch, like you say, on second viewing, certainly, it does hint a lot through the film. He even references like, I'm having some hallucinations. He even says it outright to other characters within the film. Like, first time I didn't even clock that, and then it becomes more and more apparent. Like you said, if you're a keen viewer and you watch this with really like focused scope, you're gonna clock on fairly quickly. And it's like you said, Holy Motors, you watch it from the beginning to end and it finished and go, what the fuck was that?
It's completely plotless, nonsensical.
Yeah. At least after this, you're like, it's this, it's that. Yeah. And I mean, for a 1989 film, I don't think that it would have been a revolutionary plot device, but it was interesting to see it done in this sort of way. And like you said, the madness that's thrown into it, like the chopping off of arms and like that weird Freudian relationship with his mum and dad and all of that comes with it. Yeah, really interesting film. It
is crazy. And, well, basically what you just said, all the madness makes perfect sense by the end, which is one of my likes. So it's clearly all post-traumatic stress. He's got awful memories seared into his consciousness and he keeps recreating it because after, like, all that shock, what else can he do? He's just got to relive it. It's like the horrors of war for him.
Yeah.
He's living a world of post-traumatic stress, and we're following the film in his psyche. That opening with the elephant funeral, I thought, for a director to put so much time, effort, and clearly money into this procession, that it was really striking when that sort of immortal Joe, sort of leader of this circus, comes up the street on a horse with a black and white flag.
Yeah.
I was like, this is arty.
That scene was, epic in scale, but really artistic in its license.
Oh,
and then, but like that is sort of an isolated bit within the film, because the rest of the film isn't really grand. It's grand in like its subject. It's wild, it's big, it's got big feelings, it's got big thoughts, but it's quite a personal story of one dude dealing with a hell of a lot of trauma, and that it's sort of decorated with just absolute madness. And as a whole package, it does work. And that scene you speak of, it feels like it's not part of the film, but it does still fit, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and it's barbaric, that scene, because but essentially they got this giant coffin, they launch it down a hill, and then this like crowd of people painted in white descend on the coffin and start pulling the bloody elephant apart. It's really weird. Made me feel off.
Yeah, I mean, that it doesn't feel like it's part of the story. Like, what's going on there? There's a subplot of people that are starving that like sort of all crowd around and feed upon a dead fucking elephant. And that's just left there.
I don't know. I think it does, because throughout the film, ritual's really important. So you look at the ritual that Concha is conducting at the start for her temple for a modern saint who was raped and had her arms chopped off like a schoolgirl. But then you look at the other rituals that take place, like with the throwing of knives and how sexualized it is.
Yeah.
All of it's very like culty in a way. And that leads into my third like as well. Like the choreography of every scene was a feat to behold for me. Like Elephant Funeral, the scope of it, what I just covered, I thought was grand. And did you see the Tarantino scene that Tarantino stole from? Not stole from, he was honoured by.
I didn't.
Yeah, the katana. So when Butch in Pulp Fiction takes the katana out and attacks them in the basement, Tarantino loves that scene, sampled it for Pulp Fiction. So you know when he kills the big, which is clearly a man, but essentially this is when I clocked the mum probably didn't exist. I had suspicions, but I clocked it because he went looking for essentially a very, very masculine woman wrestler.
A She-Hulk.
Yeah, because he thought, I can't actually physically dominate that person.
Yeah.
So that's why he picked her. And that's why, but then he pulls out the katana and kills from behind.
Yeah.
I think Tarantino took from that. He does like the film. It's in his favourite horror films.
Oh, really?
Considers it a horror, but it's more than that. It is more than a horror film.
Yeah, it is labelled as a horror.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the physical copy, it looks like it's a horror film. And there's a lot of it had me thinking, none of it had me scared, but it's not that sort of horror. It's a psychological horror. It's, I mean, what's more horrific than trying to navigate PTSD or trauma?
Yeah.
Like, what the actual thing that happens to this guy and his mum with the arms being chopped off is something that, you know, let's be honest, no one's really going to fucking experience.
No.
Not many people anyway.
Not so artistically.
No, it's not going to look as stunning when it does happen. But there's so many people that struggle with a form of that, with getting over something that's happened in their childhood, with getting over something horrific that's happened to them or someone in their family or someone adjacent to them. So it is actually this wildly mad story, but events that can sort of mirror real things that real people go through, and it's actually quite smart.
Yeah, because it poisons normality, so the rest of his life becomes poisoned. Last like was Mummy's hand segments. I thought Axel Jodorowsky and Blanca Guerra do this amazing like hand choreography, and it did literally look like her arms, but the actor behind her, Alex, is actually doing the hands, and I thought it was very well done. Yeah,
and we've mentioned on here about eye acting.
Yes,
and it's the theory that some actors should be celebrated because what they can do with their eyes to portray an emotion, to produce a single tear pond a face.
Yeah.
Hand acting, some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The fluidity of man's palms was exceptional.
Yeah.
I sat there this morning and I tried to do the weird like wave hand shit. I can't do that.
He's a water dancer with hands.
He is a hand water dancer.
He is.
Yes.
I'm done.
You done?
Yeah.
I'll go on to mine then, limited edition. The wonderful people at Severin Films and AIM Publicity gave us the honour of reviewing this highly collectible edition, and I have to say it is stunning. If you grab yourself a copy of this mind-bending horror, you get a shit ton of bonus features and insights into the madness behind a highly rated Jodorowsky joint. The artwork, the sheer amount of extras and special features, and the whole look of this behemoth Blu-ray has to go down as a like, because it is honestly bloody beautiful. That's the first time I've done this, highlighted a like of something that's physical outside of the film. And as a limited edition, as a physical media geek, as a Blu-ray lover, it looks fucking stunning.
I would be proud to have this in a collection on a wall, because the beauty is not just in the film, but the artwork, like you were saying, the way it's presented is amazing.
Oh, it's stunning. I find myself sitting there in quieter moments and having a look through it because it is that beautiful. And this isn't just a shameless plug because we've got it sent to us. If that was the case, I would have done this for every film we've promoted in season 2. This one stands out as a very, very sexy looking limited edition.
And our last 2 plugs, I wouldn't watch them again. I would watch this again.
The last films we've plugged, the double feature, Hicksploitation, backwards double feature, I'm trying to sell them vintage, but no fucker wants it.
Let's hope no one from there carries on listening.
I think they're done now. Their films are finished. But if you are listening, thanks for sending it over. But I no longer want to watch them ever again. Thank you. They are films that are permanently scarred into my head.
For the wrong reasons.
All of the wrong reasons. All of them. My third and final like is the peculiar plot and strange synopsis. Santa Sangre is a film about a son becoming his mother's arms to exact revenge on a circus. I mean, what more do you want? When I read the synopsis, I was sold, and I love the fact that the Santa Sangre is as surreal as it sounds. If you don't buy into the madness immediately, you're going to have a bad time, but I just let it wash over me, and I'm glad that I did.
We sin with our hands.
We do sin with our hands.
You don't ever have to admit what's in your mind, but what your hands do. Don't masturbate, you go hell. Don't kill someone, you go hell. Everything's by hands. If you steal, you're using your hands. Unless you're good at foot stealing. Can you steal with your feet?
If you was to walk into a shoe shop and you slid your feet into a pair of shoes.
Oh, you're talking about slip-on Velcros, don't you? Because you'd still need your hands to... You'd kick it off the display case.
Flip-flops. Flip-flops is a foot theft that one could do quite easily, I feel. If they were in a shop, slide on, leg it.
What's the most valuable flip-flop, though? It's probably something from Gucci or Versace.
I reckon there's probably a fucking obnoxious pair of Balenciaga flip-flops that go for like 50k or some shit.
Did you see that? Triangle of Sadness came true.
You did send a link. I forgot. I did have a brief read of this.
Like
Spain.
Bunch of like proper like millionaires, like all on a yacht, and it sunk, and like loads of them died. I'm not laughing. I'm just like, I was a bit like, my God. Like, I mean, it is the plot of Triangle of Sadness. I don't know if there's an island now with a couple of lower class people and they're trying to eat fish.
Art imitates life.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do?
Yep.
Yeah. Go on a more reasonable holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go big bucks because you could fucking die. Yeah. Moral of the story.
Conspiracy theorists are well on it though, because because one of them was like a British tech billionaire, trillionaire mogul, and him and his partner died in a car crash a week before. And he died in a yacht. And it's just, it looks a bit iffy because there was a big court case in the US about how they made their billions. So it's weird.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
What didn't you like about Santa Sangre, please?
Leaving 20 foot of thick yarn in a mentally ill person's cell.
It's unreasonable.
What type of doctor is that?
Yeah.
This guy is like suffering from post-traumatic stress. He eats raw fish and barks like a cat. Yeah. And he's got loads of rope. Enough rope to hang himself 10 times.
And a fucking tree that he can scale to climb out the fucking window.
I know. But is that in his imagination? Was he ever in there?
I mean, that's a good question.
No one's looking for him.
I mean, who's looking for that, though? No offence. His mum's dead because she got her arms chopped off by her dad. His dad slit his own throat because his mum threw acid on his cock.
Yeah.
Who's left?
That's true.
A deaf mute
who
child.
Who is a deaf mute in real life.
I didn't know that.
She is, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Limited acting career, I think. She didn't do much. I thought she was great in this. Well, I'm talking about the second rendition of The Mute.
Yes.
Not the first one. Second one, yeah. Something Davidson. Someone Davidson.
I don't know, man.
Sorry, I forgot her name. She didn't play a huge part in the...
A significant part.
Yeah. Well, yeah, significant. Well, she's who's left.
Yeah, well, she with someone who's only really got the senses of vision and smell.
That is the only problem, I suppose. What is real in the film? Because obviously it ends with a police standoff, essentially, and our protagonist comes out, puts his hands up with the mute deaf, and it's like, well, is he being arrested? Did he kill all of these women and paint them and bury them in the ground? Did it happen?
I don't think
That's where you got to question it.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of the beast, I suppose. It is so wild that you don't actually know, like, if any of it happened past the arm chopping.
Yeah, is the psychosis still going on?
There's an argument to be had that even the arm chopping didn't fucking happen. The longer you pull on the string, the more it unravels. Like, fuck knows. I don't know.
I'd say all of that happened.
Yeah. Well, if it didn't, then that's one sick puppy if he's made all that shit up.
Yeah. That's just a domestic, but a circus domestic.
Yeah.
It's always got to be a bit weirder, isn't it?
Oh, it's just a moderate level domestic in the circus world.
Yeah. It's not going to be, oh, he cheated on me. It's going to be, oh, he checked the elephant's prostate.
Yeah.
That was my job.
Yeah.
Chicken abuse. Some chickens were dropped from height. Did you see?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's one another dislike. So when they're throwing chickens at him in his hallucination, which he considers a hallucination, some of those dogs did not get back up. They were just crumpled, and I thought, oh man.
Turned into nuggets.
Pretty much. I just thought, can you imagine that? Jodorowsky has just sort of said, look, can you just go and get like 200 chickens and you all go up in the rafters and just throw them at my son?
Yeah. Couldn't happen today.
No.
Couldn't happen today.
No. Well, end of apocalypse now. They really do behead a bull.
Yeah.
You know. But I assume that happens anyway, and they were going to eat it. They were a real tribe, and it was just like, we're going to film.
Yeah, fast food.
Coppola was like, we film.
Yeah.
Wait, it is Coppola, yes. I always get that little moment where I think Kubrick, because Kubrick did Jacket, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
And Francis Ford Coppola did Apocalypse.
No, that's an acceptable muddling of lines with those two. I'll give you that.
I think so. I think Vietnam might be the reason.
Yeah.
Third dislike, constant brass. And between the on-set brass bands, there was music constantly. So it's almost like the bands aren't real. They're on set playing music while scenes play out. They're accompanying the film, but it's kind of like, it's almost like satire.
Mm.
It's almost like the music on set is making a joke of itself.
Soundtracking his psychosis.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's where it come from, but it's constant. So my ears. So I've always appreciated quiet scenes in films, ones where I can take in the actor's expression and stuff.
Yeah.
This film obviously lacks deep acting, in my personal opinion.
Oh god, yeah.
But I think it's intentional because it's madness.
Yeah.
I think it's not like watching The Machinist or something. It's mad because we're all like clowns laughing. It's weird.
But then, yeah, this is what I thought. I thought that. I was like, well, yeah, it's a fucking mad world. Like, this is a mad psychosis from someone who's very, very mentally unwell and unstable. Of course, it's going to be mad and chaos and all that. And then I thought, how much more impactful would a film like this be if the performances were fucking amazing by incredible actors?
Yeah.
We'd be sitting there going, this film fucking floored me, it rocked me, but because of the ropey acting, it's one of my dislikes. I'll go into it a bit more when I get to it, but because of that sort of poor performances, it does lessen it a bit for me. I mean, you can almost excuse it because of the chaos, because of the madness. It's a lot easier to look past when you think about the plot and what's going on. But yeah, if this was fucking 10 out of 10 actors before putting out 10 out of 10 performances, I think I'd be sitting here going, this is fuck top 500, this is top fucking 50, top 10 maybe.
Well, I wrote that down. It reminded me of elements from some of my favourite films like Dogtooth and The Skin I Live In, but lacked the calibre of the individual performances in them films.
Well, you've done it.
Yeah, and it's like it seemed intentional in its absurdity, and almost, like I was saying, almost satirical. But my no fault, I realise it's got some bad acting in it.
Yeah,
but you're right. If it had like the performances from Dogtooth, The Skin I Live In, films like that, yeah, it would be a huge film.
Yeah,
huge. I mean, it's cult. It's a huge cult. It's probably one of the best cult films I've seen. But cult films obviously are few and far between when it comes to being good.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. When I hear that it's a cult film, 9 times out of 10, I watch it and I go, what the fuck is this? Boondock Saints being one that I watched recently. People love that film. Yeah. Absolutely. It's so shit, so tedious.
Yeah.
Really, like the worst thing I've ever seen Willem Dafoe in. But that is so highly lauded as a cult film. As it stands, this has, like you said, has got a cult reputation, and I can understand why it's got a cult following. I get it. I'm not necessarily in that cult camp, but I can see why people adore it, and it's got that cult status.
Yeah.
Any more dislikes for me, or you done?
I had little one-liners. I wish I had as adolescent tattoo moments with my dad, and for a lot of the film, I was sitting there going live action rendition of Paprika or a Cyndi Lauper Kate Bush music video. But because of the ending and it does tie up, the Paprika thing left.
Well, talking of tying things up, I'll go on to my dislike then, because my dislike is live action Paprika.
No.
Yeah. In terms of balls to the wall bonkersness,
It's so good.
this film has to be the closest I have ever seen to that animated what the fuck fest that is Satoshi Kon's Paprika. Please check out episode 5 of season 2 to find out our thoughts on this one.
We're so in tune, man.
We are connected. Whilst I quite enjoyed both these films, and you know, I didn't hate Paprika nearly as much as you did, I thought that Santa Sangre actually had a lot more substance to it that wasn't necessarily explored as much as I would have liked. The final act showcases that if you don't take control of your trauma, it will take control of you.
Nice.
The problem is the audience is asked to wait a bloody long time for clarity and confirmation, and if you aren't willing to buy into the bonkers early doors, you may struggle to reach an ending that actually gives the plot purpose.
Willie's got to be willing.
Willies do have to be willing.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Willie Nelson. There'd be no Willie Nelson if he wasn't willing to be Willie.
Yep. Same as Willie Adames, a more niche reference there if you're into your baseball.
Yeah, Milwaukee Brewers.
Yep. There you go. But like you've covered, like I've covered as well, the saving grace is that at the end, you're like, oh, it's because of this. Now, Paprika, it doesn't have an awful lot of that. Now, I like Paprika. I did like Paprika because it was like nothing I'd seen before. This is not like nothing I've ever seen before, but closest to Paprika, but live action, which is just fucking mad.
Paprika left the track a bit too early for me.
Yeah.
I was on the train and it went. I was like, you lost me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably just lack of intelligence.
No, I when you gave your argument about Paprika not being very good, I didn't sit here opposite going, you're fucking mad.
Some people love it though, don't they?
They
fucking love it.
We're talking about cult films. That's a fucking cult film. And people love that one a bit too much.
Oi.
Another dislike, touched on it already, is the acting. Despite genuinely enjoying rolling up my sleeves and cozying up to some crazy, some of the acting in this just outright is objectively bad. I don't think Santa Sangre was made with performances being important, but I can't sit here and say that the acting wasn't distracting for large parts of the film.
I'm trying to think, is there anyone in there that I thought was really good?
A physical...
Felix had moments.
Yes.
Like, I loved it when he adorns his cowboy outfit as an adult and he steps up on stage and that music gets really moody and he's about to start his knife throwing. His concentration was exceptional.
Oh, in terms of physical performance, like we said with the hands, like him scutting about his mental room, all of that shit. Physically, it was a really domineering, almost intimidating performance of someone that's lost his psyche. But how he sort of done his lines and how he acted in other moments that were meant to be more impactful to show emotion and stuff, it didn't really land for me. But like you said, yeah, parts of it, physical performance, I thought was great. His river hand dances, river dance for the hands was fucking brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Flathandley.
I
got a name for the hand Oscars.
Go on.
10-digit totem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Final dislike, worrying arousal.
Oh, yeah.
I found large parts of this film oddly sexy, and I am not entirely sure if I was supposed to. The tattooed temptress, the armless mother, the naked painted white woman, all contributed to me feeling a little flustered in my fun zone.
Hey, she weren't my mum.
Well,
I weren't watching it like it was my mum.
Nor was I.
I went Freudian in that, but I was sitting there going, go on, do her. What?
Let's just go on record that I was not either. But considering just how mental this film is, I disliked that I had these peculiar pangs and pinings. So, I mean, like, the tattooed woman is a sexy
You're
woman.
only supposed to be into that. I mean, she's fellatiating a knife that was near her head.
I'm sorry. Blanca Guerra, who plays Concha, is a very attractive woman.
She's beautiful.
And did I find her potentially more attractive when her arms got lobbed off? I don't know. I don't know. I liked her arms. But I'm not saying I didn't like her without her arms.
I would love to look at your phone search history after you watch this film.
There is no...
If anything even says...
Hey.
No arm porn.
I put it to you as the person who has offered up many limbless what the plot storylines, as you are the one with the limb fetish, good sir. Or lack of limb fetish, good sir.
Yes.
But my history is squeaky clean, thank you very much.
I think not.
Let's leave that
I think not. The seed was shown. It was shown long ago.
I got some questions. Which actor's arms would you like to replace yours?
Warwick Davis. What?
Well, I mean, so you could look like a fucking T-Rex.
No.
You're a 6'3" man. Warwick Davis is what, 3'6"?
Yes, but
You do the math.
He had short arm length, but normal hand size. And I don't mean the word normal to be average hand size for a man.
Okay, you saved yourself there.
Saved myself a little. But yes, I would lean forward, run, and make noises and go, oh, like that. And
I mean, I'd love to see that. As a fan of Warwick Davis, as a fan of you, and as a fan of fucking dinosaurs, that's a cocktail that I would like to
He's a sport.
in.
He's a sport. He's in.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's down. You take anything.
Well, I mean, it's a better answer than mine.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
Why?
He's just got big fucking arms, hasn't he?
Hands or arms?
Arms. I mean, and his hands, they come as a package.
Hey, do you know what?
Hands.
If there's a Razzies for the 10-digit totem, Hemsworth would be in the Razzie version of that.
I've never noticed his hand acting.
It's because his face can't act.
Okay.
His Scottish accent.
What is your favourite film centred on a cult?
I love the original Wicker Man.
Yeah, see, that is a film that has been on my watch list for ages, and I've never got round to watching it. I've only heard good things.
It's eerie, it's odd, but it's pure cult. It is pure cult.
So, cult as in it's centred on a cult rather than it having a
yeah, but
cult
it is also
following.
it's a double because it is a cult film.
It's a double cult.
It's a cult film about cult.
Wow.
Yeah, and what does cult mean? It means a standing apart subculture that don't want to conform. Yeah. You could say, I mean, this is a cult film. Wicker Man is a bit of a cult film. It wouldn't have been for everyone.
No.
Yeah, and that's got some sexy scenes in it, man. That's got some really sexy scenes in it.
Troubling sexy or just normal sexy?
Troubling sexy. Ooh. So you've got your religious police officer who goes to the island to look for a missing girl. So it's a little bit Shutter Island going on there, right? But he's chastised because he's religious, so he doesn't have sex. And is it Britt Eklund in Wicker Man? Stunning woman, anyway, beautiful, and she's boobies out, and she's in one room, he's in the other, and she's like singing through the wall to him, like to lure him in for sex. And he's like sweating against the wall going, oh, Jesus Christ, no. So that's a sexy scene. But he's like walking through a graveyard one night. He's on this island. He's thinking about the crimes, finding this girl. And there's like just an orgy in the graveyard.
Sold.
Yeah, it's a cult film, but it's also about a cult.
Sold.
There is a chance that I may have jumped straight to what I thought you meant in terms of it being about a cult.
That's what I did mean.
And just luckily... it is a cult film.
I mean, I only realised after asking the question it could be taken two ways. But I did actually mean like a story centred about a cult.
Oh, cool.
So
a double entendre.
You did it.
Nice.
You double culted.
Thanks.
You kit culted.
Thanks.
Yeah, mine is Midsummer and Kill List.
I know see Kill List.
Oh.
Midsummer's good, but it takes hugely from Wicker Man.
See, I wouldn't know that because I've not seen the original. But I didn't, because it was one of the first horror films that I decided to be a big brave boy and watch after decades of me going, I no touch horror, no like.
Yeah, but is it horror?
I found it troubling, but only when I went to bed days later. Because it's set in it's beautiful. It looks beautiful, which is really unnerving because you're used to like looking at what's in the dark, not knowing what's there. That's normally what's scary, the unknown, what you can't see.
It's made me dubious of Swedish people.
I don't think that's entirely wrong. You should be dubious of all people because all people can be dodgy.
No, particularly Swedish people.
Okay. IKEA's a cunt.
I was only there yesterday.
And was it a cunt?
Mate, it ain't, because any place in 2024 that is doing meatballs, mashed lingonberry jam for like $5.95 is good in my books. 95p for tomato pasta for a child.
I mean, that's good.
These are great prices, and it's a clean kitchen, and it runs efficiently.
Little free IKEA promo there. Fair play us.
Yes.
Santa Sangre is the first film I have seen from acclaimed filmmaker Alejandro Jodorowsky. Would you be interested in seeing more of his films? And, based on this film, would you have liked to see his vision of June?
Yes.
Okay.
I think his vision of June suits his style. You know, June is a very very far removed human experience, but it's relatable because we're looking at, there are similarities between how humankind has been on Earth in our history to what he has written in Dune. There's still greed, there's still power and stuff, but yeah, the artistic side of it.
It would be fucking mad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading a long time ago about his vision, and like, I think you mentioned he wanted, what was the artist?
Salvador Dali.
He wanted Salvador Dali in it to play Emperor Padishah, I think. And then, but also he wanted Pink Floyd and Tangerine Dream as the music, and I was like, it could have been exceptional. Could he have told a consistent storyline? I don't know.
That's where I fall short. I'm not sure. Like, I haven't seen the original Lynch film. I don't know what that's like. I've not seen it, so I don't have that as a reference. But the thought of someone out-weirding David Lynch is mad in itself. Like, I would assume that Jodorowsky's version would be a lot more mad based on this film alone. I've not seen any other of his films, like I say.
Well, two of his films prior to Sangre are really highly lauded, and they're not as mad. Apparently, I've not seen them. Toto.
El Topo. I think.
El Topo. Sorry. Yeah. So he has got some belters.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. And it's kind of, I don't know, I think I'm even more up for it now that I've heard this may be his maddest one, to know that he's got films that out there that are more, they make more sense. They're not as oddball. I'm like, what they be? Because he's a highly regarded filmmaker, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'd like to explore more.
He's very artsy. He's the Chilean, yeah, oh, fuck me. Who's the paedophile? He's the Chilean Roman Polanski. Sorry. Okay. I got there in the end.
You did. Who's the paedophile? There's a few of them, unfortunately. What would you rate Santa Sangre out of 10? 7. Okay. Yeah. I am very, very pleasantly surprised. And I'm happy that I got it wrong. Because my original notes, my first dislike was basically an open letter apology to yourself. Because I can be like, after putting you through Jenny wife/child and common law wife, I thought he's going to fucking hate this film.
Them other two don't really have a place in film reviews, in my personal opinion. This is very critiquable. You could, I don't even know if that's a word.
It's not, but it should be.
It works, doesn't it?
Critiquable.
It really does work.
I like
it. This can stand in the halls of Film Valhalla.
Yeah. And
be critiqued. The other two, it's like mates at a weekend making a film. It just weren't.
Yeah.
They just weren't.
Should we try not
No, but that's even more reason to go watch them.
Yeah.
No, all press is good press.
Yeah.
Unless it's nonsense. That's bad press.
Yeah. Unless you're Roman Polanski doing dodgy things.
He's a good director.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so surprisingly, I've gone lower than you, and I could have never imagined a world where, after my first viewing, watching a film like this, where I would score it lower than yourself. But here we are. I'd gone 6.5.
That's not bad. It's not far off from what I gave it.
But like I said, and I've said several times in this episode, when I first watched the first half of this film, I thought, fuck, what am I doing to this poor man? He welcomes me into his home. He embarks on this creative endeavour with me, and I'm putting him through more shit. And
his time's precious because we recently both got new jobs.
Yeah.
And our time has been eating up.
It's been a bit of a obstacle fitting this wonderful project of ours in, but we've been managing to do it. So it does warm me that we both took value from this film, because our time is scarce now to do this. So we want to be doing good films. So yeah, I think the 6.5 and your 7 is a fair summary of a film that's got a lot more going for it than you might think it would. Yeah. And yeah, so definitely deserving of that cult status as well. That gives Santa Sangre a total score of 13.5 out of 20. If you like your horror films to be culty, crazy, and continuously chaotic, or if you have ever wanted to see a PTSD suffering son have his palms possessed by a problematic parent who is persistent in placing pain ponder people that caused harm to her arms, then Santa Sangre could be a film for you. Santa Sangre is available to buy from severinfilms.com, where Alejandro Jodorowsky's mind-bending masterwork is available on a stunning 4-disc limited edition on UHD and Blu-ray. There is honestly too much bounty in this spectacular collector's edition to list everything that comes with the film, but you can expect over 8 hours of bonus features that include a plethora of commentaries, a documentary, a vast selection of interviews, and an exclusive soundtrack CD if you are buying in the UK. Head on over to severinfilms.com and secure yourself a copy today. Consider watching Santa Sangre if you enjoyed El Topo, Jacob's Ladder, and Delicatessen. Should we play a game?
That was very good, by the way. I mean, I know we usually say, should we play a game and then go into the song, but that was a lot
Thanks.
of brilliant alliteration.
I needed that. I've
Well
had
done.
a mild stroke.
Well done.
Thanks, man.
Give it a name, give it a name, give it a name now. We birth a plot and then make a trailer. What the plot?
Action.
I'm going to do a genre today I do not believe we have done in What the Plot. Mockumentary.
Oh, hello.
I don't think we've done one.
Off the top of thy head, I can't remember one.
No.
And I do love me a good mockumentary.
Me love a mockumentary.
Done well, one of my favourites.
Yes. It's brilliant. You're getting your comedy in there.
You're getting your comedy.
You get your naturalistic acting because it's a mockumentary. They have to be real.
Yep.
It has to be everyday peeps.
Yep, you have to feel almost awkward in your own skin because reality is awkward. You've got to feel like, oh God, I recognise that character. It's a documentary, so that sort of person exists out there. It feels real, and because it feels real, it makes me feel dirty.
Life's absurd.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
And that's the title of the film.
Nice. I think that would be a good one.
Okay,
It might track. I'll give you the rest of the meat, and then you tell me whether it needed seasoning or not.
Okay, give me your meat.
Mockumentary where an investigative journalist, a Louis Theroux type character, if you will, travels the world investigating the universal laughter and disgust that is associated with flatulence and how each culture considers its bum belches in a different way. Can you imagine the opening scene? Knocking on the door. Hi, it's Louis. Not Louis Theroux, but let's say, for instance, the guy goes, oh, how you doing? Yeah, come on in, come in. And he goes, so when did you first laugh at farting? And the guy goes, oh, it must have been, etc. Goes through it. And then, like, the Louis character's like, can you give us an example now? And the guy just, like, leans over, belches one out his arse, and then laughs.
This is a 10 out of 10 film.
It would be so funny.
Show me someone who doesn't find farting funny.
Yeah, but because he hopscotches around the world, so because it's a mockumentary, we can totally believe that this little... So it'll come up with the little graphic in the bottom left. It'll say, Louisiana, USA. The person who's going to fart, 32 years old, his name, etc. Then it's like, Africa, South Africa, what do you think about farts and stuff? We think it's associated with spirits and stuff. Japan, what do you think about farts? Oh, it's polite. It means you enjoyed your food.
None of these. Can I just ask? Are they? Is that true? Those points, or did you just pull them out your ass?
No, the only one that's true is in Norway. They think when you fart, it's the tears of your dead relatives.
No, they do not.
No, don't.
I was going to say Norwegians aren't that. They're not that wild.
Hey, Iceland actually believe in elves.
Yep.
50-60% Janrello.
Yep. There is a What the Plot out there for that story there, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, I like that.
But the research you could do into farting, because there would have been medical practitioners, if you could have called them that were ordained by the church during like the plague, that would probably look at flatulence like the devil. They'd probably say, oh, their stomach is gastroenteritis, we call it today. They'd say the devil's gone well up his arse, mate. He's deep. It's gone right in his arse.
So this is great because you could have the lead man like really taking this seriously.
He never laughs.
No, but like we're as an audience member, you're like laughing. But I think that the actor delivering this performance would have to be like really like serious, losing sleep about getting all the best and details and intel of farting.
Like Spinal Tap, like Rob Reiner.
Yeah. Just like, and being deadly, deadly serious, like a really serious investigative journalist.
Amazing.
But about something so wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, mockumentary is a comedy for me, but like...
Delivered.
Everyone is in on the joke except the dude doing it. Like the guy who's the journalist could have his bosses that have been like, look, I see him as a slightly older actor, could be like, look, you come into the end of your career, just go and travel the world. It's on us. And we're going to give you a fluff piece. But because he's always been so serious, he still takes something as ridiculous as this so seriously. And yeah,
This is a story that needs to be told.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
I think so. I like the almost filmed like The Office, like the bits, the big gaps of air after something gets said that's awkward. Yeah. No one laughs. But someone farts and then the cameraman just adjusts his camera slightly and then the Louis Theroux character just sits back in his chair and you hear the chair lever go, and he just like looks and waits for the fart to hit him, and then he goes, and then it cuts.
No, I'm a big fan of this, and I think it would do fucking well.
Farts on trains, like that could be one part of the film, a small segment. Like he wants to talk about like the people that fart in public places or on transport, and how it affects other people that can't escape because they're on a train.
But it is like, it's the psychology of it as well. Farts are funny unless they fucking stink. If someone drops a bomb and it is dirt egg, you're sitting there going, I actually want to fucking gut you like a fish. That is grim. That is disgusting.
See, I argue with you on this point because I made you an omelette once.
Oh, here we go.
And I made myself an omelette. Yeah. And I didn't have to smell your fart to be put off because I made an omelette, bro. I could smell the egg, right?
Yeah, but that was egg from the egg
I know.
you were eating, not the egg from my anus.
And that's my argument. I didn't need to smell your fart to be put off by the fact that you dropped bomb as I was about to tuck into an omelette. And guess what, audience? Guess what? I didn't eat the omelette. He fucking did. He ate his, and then he guffed me out the room. He gassed me. He World War I trenched me, and then ate my fucking omelette. It was planned. It was premeditated. There is a conspiracy, and there was a second shooter on the grassy knoll.
Oh, it was Pep Guardiola level of tactics. I was like, how can I get myself some more egg? I know what I'm going to do. Oh, yeah. Well, we were drinking the night before, and I didn't realise it would affect you so much. We were having a nice morning. We were having the hangover giggles. You made a mega omelette. I dropped a bomb, and you was like, I'm not eating that.
I'm not a man's man.
And I'm like, don't waste that omelette. That's a good fucking omelette. So I had an omelette and 3/4, and it was fantastic. But it's that, isn't it? Some people find farts hilarious. Other people find them like really like disgusting, abhorrent. And it is a part of, it's like boy culture. Like it seems to be associated with that juvenile male sense of humour. Like I still find them funny, and I'm 37 years of age.
They're funny. If I'm not in the room, they're funny. Like Ad occasionally sends me an audio clip of him dropping one. And that
isn't one-way traffic.
No,
I want to go on record say we share.
We do share, but what I did once, after a good 2 weeks, he'd obviously been changing his diet, so a lot of fart was coming my way, and what I did is I condensed them all together, didn't I? I collated them, and I sent them all back to you in a row, and it literally was a song.
Yeah, it was like he dropped a greatest hits.
Yeah.
Of me before the shits.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I still listen to it.
He said he was crying, he couldn't get off the floor because it was just like...
Yeah.
Like they just played.
It was a bum bop.
It was a big bum bop dutty.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of this. I think it's a great idea. In terms of casting and director, I'm going Todd Phillips.
Nice.
Now, he divides opinion, and he, I think we kind of forget that the man started off with just bonkers comedy. Like the Hangover trilogy. I think he did Old School, didn't he?
Yeah, he did Old School.
That's right,
yeah. Due Date.
Yeah, he was that guy for ages. He was where his humour would be sort of gross out, toilet humour a lot of the time. Big physical gag guy, so he's got that background, but he can also do serious stuff. I mean, and a lot of people hate it, but the success of Joker speaks for itself.
Well,
right?
if comedy and serious meets in the middle, it probably is mockumentary.
Exactly, that's real. Yeah, real life is that drama and comedy. Like real life is fucking mad. So mockumentary on farts done by Todd Phillips, I'd love to see. And in the lead role, as this sort of really serious investigator, I'd go Jared Harris.
Oh,
because
yes,
he is a serious actor. Great.
He's brilliant.
Thespian. I mean, the scene recently in The Terror, fantastic.
Richard Spawn, isn't he? Richard Harris Spawn.
Exactly. And in the TV series The Foundation as well, like I quite like that.
And The
film.
Expanse.
Yeah, he's like that series, sorry. I think he's great as a serious actor. I think someone who does serious so well, I think he could do comedy like amazing.
Well, it would be a wicked turn for him as well.
Yeah, and I mean, he wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole because it's fucking Jared Harris. But I think he could. I think he's got a really good comedy turn in his locker, but it wouldn't be obvious comedy because he's not trying to be funny. He's doing this dead serious, but the subject matter, the mockumentary style suggests that it is comedy, but he's taking it serious.
Fassbender recently did a comedy about like a Tongan football team, didn't he? Where he plays like an Irish football coach or something. So
that was hot shit.
Oh, it wasn't funny.
It was hot shit. Taika's lost the plot. It was shit.
Taika's done Shyamalan 20 years later, isn't he?
Yeah.
He started with some strongs.
Now.
Went weak.
Hot shit. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, and in terms of title, first thing that came to my head was Gone with the Wind, but it's already a fucking title.
That doesn't matter.
But could we just do it again?
It doesn't matter.
Gone with the Wind, or...
Just do it in lowercase.
Yeah, Yeah, Gone with the Wind or Laughing Gas. I don't know which one. Because
laughing gas. Oh, well.
Because he's seeing why people find it so funny around the world, seeing what it means to different cultures, different people. So I don't know. Gone with the Wind could be a bit on the nose. You could put like Gone with the, and then like underneath put like Smelly Wind or something. Gone with the Smelly Wind, or just Gone with the Wind. I don't know.
With the smelly wind.
I've gone with the Smelly Wind.
Gone with the smelly wind.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
Gone with the Smelly Wind, directed by Todd Phillips and starring, sorry, Mr. Harris, Jared Harris. Yeah. Some of us enjoy it. Others despise it. It means different things in different cultures, yet one thing remains. We all do it. But why do so many of us find it so funny? My name is Edward Traffing, and I am travelling the globe to see what the world thinks of breaking wind. Farting, bottom burps, trumping, gut bum.
The Times calls it a groundbreaking piece of journalism. Gone with the smelly wind. Are you farting?
Look at me.